Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Podcast. Friday, January 26th, and we've got 8 games on the slate here for you in the NBA. Coming off a pretty rough night, I'm going to get to the picks that I had yesterday. After here, we'll review stuff real quick. But let's get right into the 3 picks that I have for you guys on the slate for Friday here before we get into anything else. All right, we've got a same game parlay to kick us off here. We've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and Donnie Mitchell in this game with the Cavs and the Bucks. It's like a 6-point spread for the Bucks. We just saw this game happen against the Cavs in this building, and I don't really think much is going to be different from the first game, where it was the first game that the Bucks played without head coach Adrian Griffin. They had an interim coach, which they'll have again here in this game on Friday now with this home and home back-to-back against the same team. Still the interim coach, whatever, Doc Rivers coming in soon, but more importantly, this team's just happy to be playing ball. And even more importantly, the matchups that we have here are just really tailor-made for everything I've got in this 3-leg parlay that gets you plus 138 back on your money. So talking about it real quick, I'm starting with Brook Lopez in the conversation. He's going to be playing down low versus Jared Allen, which means minutes. You look at his minutes versus this Cleveland team, and they do stick around and tick upwards and really maintain around 28 to 30 minutes, where other games, he's liable to play 20 to 22 minutes because when they don't really need him and his services, then they're going to go ahead and make sure he can get some rest because he plays a lot of games. He rarely misses games. And they obviously need him in the playoffs as well because having a shooting center like Brook Lopez means he doesn't get run off the floor. The fact of the matter is he's had 4+ boards and 10 straight versus Cleveland. I didn't even bother going further back than that. I know all of those involve Jared Allen as well, which is what I really care about here. No Evan Mobley in is more of a help for Giannis than anything. But for Brook Lopez, it means he's just even more so sticking to Jared Allen. When it's Evan Mobley without Jared Allen on the floor for Cleveland, you might not need as much Brook Lopez. But because Jared Allen is going to be on the floor as often as he is, we saw Brook get all those rebounds last game where he got 10 boards. And the 4 is just to really be conservative, which all 3 of these bets are rather conservative considering how well these guys have done in this matchup. For Giannis, he's murdered Cleveland, for lack of a better phrase. Really, over his last 7, he's actually been killing them at least 30 points in those 7. He's averaging 38 over his last 5. That's kind of why I just put that he's been crushing them over his last 5 because he just absolutely gets what he wants. A big part of that is Brook Lopez drawing Jared Allen either away from the basket or being able to bang with him down low and not Jared Allen not being able to leave Brook Lopez because he's in the dunker spot. And now Jared Allen has to choose. Does he want to let Brook Lopez get the dunk or does he want to let Giannis get the dunk? And he really doesn't have much help down low. He's been incredible. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's been like an all-star center without Evan Mobley in the lineup. But really, this is about Evan Mobley not being in the lineup because of the matchup that he would help with on Giannis. And he's really the only guy that could even have a shot at slowing him down. That's why we saw him walk into the 32 or 4 that he had last 34 that he had last game. And I think he's just going to keep going, man. This is a matchup made for him to get what he wants, starting around the foul line and in. That's where they're most vulnerable are the Cavs. Moving on to the last bet, part of it, Donnie Mitchell, 25+ points. He's had 23 twice now since he came to the Cavs when they played the Bucks in the 6 games he's had. In the other 4, he went cleanly over the 25 points here. And really, the thing is, once he doesn't get 25 points, the next game he does. That's been the case over the last 15 games for him. When he fails to get 25, comes back and gets 25. That's without Darius Garland, I should be specific. That's why I'm using that number of 15 games or so. But I know for at least 15 games, we haven't had DG in there. And it's really just he gets to come back. It's almost like, a batter coming back and seeing a pitcher twice and now being like, all right, well, I'll just keep coming back and I have even more familiarity with you now. Not that he needed that much more. He's played the Bucks a ton of times since he came to the Cavs in that in-division rivalry. But really, like I said, it's about him bouncing back from bad games. He just had a home against the Boston Celtics, failed to go over 25, and then gotten 31 in the second game against them. So I think it's a similar concept here for Donnie Mitchell to help close out that same game parlay. And then the next bet here, we've got James Harden. He is in rhythm right now. So I'm going over 27.5 points and assists for the Beard, minus 110 for a full unit. Like I said, the last 2 games, 24 points a game, 10 assists. Nate really brought this to my attention where he's really just clicking. And now he's playing a Toronto team that is going to be missing very good defenders, especially Jakob Poeltl, which has been a big problem for them lately. In the games that he's played since he got to this team, basically since Christmas, he's got 15 potential assists per game on the Clips there, and he's got the second most assist points created during that time. I really think a double-double is in play here as well. If you want to go plus 115, you can get that on Caesars. I believe DraftKings also has it right around a plus 110 for the double-double for Harden, because the assists, as high as they are, like, it's still a good bet for him to get the 10 and you get good juice because obviously the 10 points is coming from it. Toronto in their last 8, they're allowing a ton of points in the paint. Harden is driving a good amount and diming on the kick. And then 27th in opponent field goal percentage without Pirtle. That's over the last 8 is without Pirtle. That's why I care about these numbers. And IQ is a very good perimeter defender, very good help defender, helps limit assists, to be honest, with the way that he can switch off of anybody that's playing out on the perimeter out there with his quickness. And that's going to be a big problem. The Raptors also without Pirtle, they're not fouling. They're giving up a lot in the paint, in part because they're not fouling. So those assists are there for Harden when guys finish around the rim rather than them getting fouled and put at the line, which, diminishes his assists because he can't get assists off that. So like Harden to get his assists a lot here and the points over. So we're going over 27.5 for him. And the last bet I have here, and the reason I only have 3 bets, I should just take a quick second to let you know that, is making a few tweaks to the show. I want to start making sure I get stuff out the night before. The thing about getting stuff out night out before is don't always have concrete lines or trustworthy lines. When there's stuff to get ahead of, that'll be great because I'll give you some early bets that you can get ahead of, hopefully before the lines move and the market pushes them, right? But also, like for player props, those don't really come out the night before always. And you know how much I love to play the player props and how successful we are. 20 units up on the season still with player props alone. So I try to bring as many of those as I can. But obviously, I need to get the videos out as early as I can. You see the conundrum. So we're going to start getting one out the night before where we go over the slate. I look at each of these games. I am going to give you some leans and give you some insight into how I might be playing these games once I feel a bit more. When I have a bet the night before, I'll give it to you and make clear that I bet this already and you should hit it now. The next video will be the next day where it's a little bit later in the day for that one, but it's got player props because shoot around happened. I know who's in and out of the lineups now, and I can feel a bit better about these player prop bets that I'm making. So subscribe to the page if you would, if you're interested in getting all that. It's going to be a couple videos a day moving forward, like I said, and just a lot more content. Like people are starting to subscribe. I've got some followers now. I can afford to just go ahead and dive right into this thing with y'all and really make this show better. So got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of changes with some of this, plenty of the same stuff, but a lot of changes. So that's why this one's really short. 3 picks. Going to start doing this tonight for Friday where I switch it up with you guys and start getting into a bit more of the game analysis on top of the player prop analysis. All right, last bet here. Jaren Jackson Jr. under 32.5 points and rebounds. I can still get minus 115 on points bet. I don't love promoting points bet to you guys. Not my favorite book. But if you are a casual bettor, it's a totally fun book and fine. If you're a sharp bettor, points bet is crap. All right, for Triple J, we've been down this road really recently. It hit for us. He was really close to going over 33.5. He took a 3 with 31 PR last time and would have put him over, which would have been so sad, but he missed it. So we move on to do it again here with him. He's got fewer points and rebounds and assists at home. I'm really obviously more concerned about the PR there, not the PRA. But he just has less everything at home. 3 points fewer actually at home than on the road this season. 23. He's taken about the same amount of shots, but it does seem like he's relied on a bit more. Gets to the free throw line more when he is on the road as well. Orlando, unbelievable at stopping power forwards, and I haven't been able to say that with as much confidence until they got Wendell Carter Jr. back consistently in the lineup. Goga Batadze and Moritz Wagner are both available. Franz is back, which means you have another 6'9", 6'10" dude who's athletic and can guard down low. That's why they're so good at limiting power forwards. The third fewest points in terms of rebounds, 9th fewest rebounds. We don't care about the rebounds with Triple J. He has not been a good rebounding threat at all, ever, really, but especially now that he's relied on to do so much more, getting even fewer offensive rebounds. And 3-pointers as well. 3rd fewest 3-pointers allowed to power forward. So Orlando, this is tailor-made for them to be limiting, let's just say, for Triple J. He might get in the mid to high 20s, but I think 33 is too high for him. Where Orlando, like I said, back to a top 5 defense down low as well. Basically, the 2 areas that Triple J, you worry about him scoring. Is he going to hit threes? Is he going to hit shots inside of 5 feet going to the rim and going strong to the basket? If it's a good matchup for him to get those, then you might want to not fade him. But this is not one of those, right? Like, this is exactly where Orlando stops you, is down low, back to a top 5 defensive field goal percentage inside of 5 feet. Their 3-point defense has been awesome. Also top 10 all season. And in the last 5 games or so, back up to about top 6 in terms of 3-pointers made and allowed to their opponent. The 3-point percentage also in the top 10 in terms of being very low for their opponents. So this is also Wendell Carter Jr.'s matchup, right? And Wendell Carter Jr.'s like Bam is just the type of player to limit Triple J. He's gone under in 3 of 4 versus Wendell Carter Jr. since WCJ Wendell Carter Jr. got onto the Magic here from the Chicago Bulls. Since that trade, and even when he was on the Bulls, he did help limit Triple J, but that was a while ago. There was John Morant in there it was a different situation. Obviously, Triple J is taking a lot of shots and doing as much as he can. But because the only shots he's good at are open threes and getting to the rim driving, he's just going to be surrounded as soon as he gets down versus this Orlando collapsing defense. And like I said, their length has helped them keep guys off of the 3-point line as well and keep those shots contested. Jonathan Isaac also available, I should say. So another good long athletic dude that'll be out there to help limit Triple J in this one. He'll be in amongst the trees, and I don't think it's a good matchup for him. So closing things out here with the summary, I'm going to be risking 3 units. Apologies for not updating that once again. 3 units to win 3.9. We've got the same game parlay here, 4+ boards for Brolo, Giannis to get 30+ points, Donovan Mitchell 25+, James Harden over 27.5 points and assists, and Jaren Jackson Jr. to go under 32.5 points and rebounds. I did tell you I would quickly take you through what we did yesterday. It sucked. Curry didn't dime at all. He only had 6 potential assists in that game. Actually got closer to the double-double with the rebounds. That's why I had that bet in there in the first place, and it didn't hit. Nick Claxton made us look silly. So did Daniel Gafford after the coach of the Wizards got fired there, and they have an interim now. And Wiggins went over. So congrats to Andrew Wiggins. He was sort of the grossest bet of the night, and he's the only one that hit. Got 17 points against the Kings, and a losing effort for the Dubs once again. So 1-5 with the ladders that we tried to play with Curry that ruins the record, really, but minus 2.5 units. So on the season now, we are 7 units up, still 20 up on the player props. And like I said, got plenty more new stuff coming for you guys. That is all the time I have for you in this one. But as I continue to move along here, I'm going to be looking at more in-game analysis for the NBA games. So we're looking at how these teams are matching up and then player props on the day of the actual games. Shout out Kyle Kerms. He's been really helping me learn a lot of this stuff. I'll be on his show once again today at 4 p.m. Eastern, talking about the live stream there, talking about all the games. We run through every single game. I give out some props and plays that I might not have in time for this video, which is also why I got the idea to start doing the live stream the next day, as you guys know, like I've been saying. So appreciate you all following along and subscribing. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Like this video. It's super helpful. Much appreciated, because I am going to be getting bigger and better with you guys moving forward. So until I see you next, happy betting.